What is happening in Michigan, and why did you have to issue that warning?
Well, we're seeing, again, a continuation of the big lie where individuals are trying to find other ways to keep the misinformation alive, to stay in the news, to stay relevant, and also intervene with our security protocols, which we take quite seriously. The bottom line is in our state, at the local level, county governments cannot simply hand over access to secure ballots or voting machines or other types of materials that we use to make sure elections are secure. And my office as the state chief election officer, my job is to make sure the law is followed and that those security protections remain in place against those who would seek to continue to find ways to undermine our democracy here in our state.
You know, there was once a time, like about, 6 months ago, where almost no one in America could tell you who their Secretary of State was in their state. It was one of the kind of comfortably obscure jobs that normally done in a professional and very nonpartisan way all over the country. What has it been like to transition from that kind of position, trusted by both parties, never really doubted, into this center of kind of cross-current attacks and controversy?
Well, I've always believed, because voters in many states choose their chief election officer, that we should indeed have a greater spotlight on these positions, because we do make decisions every day that impact people's right to vote and thereby their ability to hold their elected officials accountable. So it's important we take these offices seriously. And what unfortunately we also see happening is efforts in Georgia, as you mentioned, in Arizona in particular, to now reduce the authority of these positions to further partisan agendas and partisan goals. And that is particularly troubling in light of what happened in 2020, where democracy prevailed because you had good people in Secretary of State positions on both sides of the aisle willing to stand up and defend every vote and every voice. And if those folks are replaced by people who don't have that same commitment, or if their job description is changed to give that ability to oversee elections to more partisan individuals, like, in Arizona, the attorney general, we do have a problem on our hands that impacts the ability to protect the integrity of our elections and our democracy moving forward.
Does this feel to you like, in effect, spring training for the big game being in 2024 in the next presidential election, where these things that are presenting themselves as challenges right now will actually get turned into Republican-controlled practices in various battleground states?
Well, we're absolutely right to look at this as preparation for the 2024 election cycle. Indeed, I believe everything we saw and endured and survived in 2020 will be back again in 2022 and in stronger forces in 2024, where those forces who sought to undermine democracy in 2020 will be back. They will be better organized. They will be better funded. They will have more people in positions of authority. So yes, in many ways, everything you're seeing right now, from the fraudits that are perpetuating the big lie and feeding the big lie misinformation campaign, to the changes to election laws all across the country to make it harder to vote, to the changes in authority or efforts to strip authority from election administrators. It's all about preparing for the next big battle in 2024, where those forces will be back. And I think it's important for folks to know in that. And to me, this feels like a continuation more than training, meaning I feel like we were told this marathon would end in the 2020 election, but indeed, the big run, the big race was just beginning. And it's going to take us through 2024 and require all of us to stay vigilant throughout this time and into 2024 to protect our democracy and ensure that it prevails again.